Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Mari. I'm one of the librarians at Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine, and I'm here today to talk about pandas. Now we're going to read a few books about pandas and learn about this incredible bear. We're going to start with this book from the series Amazing Animals. This book is by Valerie Bowden, and if we look at the title page, we can see that it's from Creative Education. See that nice picture of the panda. A panda is a mammal. A mammal is an animal that has hair or fur and feeds its babies with milk. Pandas are part of the bear family. They are one of the smallest kinds of bears. There are few pandas left in the wild today. Pandas have thick black and white fur. They have sharp claws and strong legs. Their front paws have a long bone that looks like a thumb. This bone helps pandas pick up things. A panda's claws and teeth help it to eat woody food, like bamboo. The biggest pandas are about 6 feet or 1.8 meters long. They can weigh up to 240 pounds or 109 kilograms. Female pandas are usually smaller than males. Pandas are about the size of black bears in North America. Pandas only live in the middle of China. They live in bamboo forests there. Bamboo grows on cool, rainy, or snowy mountains. Pandas eat bamboo. Bamboo is a kind of grass that looks like a tree. It has thick stems, branches, and leaves. Pandas can eat more than 80 pounds or 36 kilograms of bamboo every day. Once in a while, pandas eat flowers, vines, or even bamboo rats, too. Bamboo is one of the fastest growing plants in the world. A wild female panda gives birth to 1 or 2 cubs in a den. Newborn cubs are tiny. They weigh less than a tube of toothpaste. When a cub is about 2 years old, it leaves its mother. Young pandas have to watch out for leopards or wild dogs called gulls. Wild pandas can live up to 20 years. A cub is a baby panda, and a den is a home that's hidden like a cave. You can see the panda and the baby cub up there. Adult pandas live alone. They eat bamboo almost all the time. They sometimes eat sitting up with their back against a tree, and pandas nap between meals. Pandas do not get a lot of energy from the food they eat. Pandas can climb trees. They sometimes roll and play on the ground. Pandas are generally quiet, but they can bark, growl, and squeal. Young pandas like to play and wrestle each other. Not many people have seen a panda in the wild, but some people study them at research centers in China. Pandas live in zoos around the world, too. It can be fun to see these furry bears up close. Research centers keep pandas safe so they can live longer, which are places where people study something, such as an animal, to learn more about it. A panda story. Why are pandas black and white? A story from China says that pandas used to be all white. Then one day, a little girl saved a panda cub from a leopard. The girl died when the leopard attacked her. The pandas were so sad that they pawed at the ground and cried. They wiped their eyes with their muddy paws and hugged each other. The mud from their paws left black marks, and pandas have had black and white fur ever since. And in the back, it tells us the index where to find certain topics, some websites, and some other books that we can check out. And we are going to read another book right now. The book that we're going to read is called Giant Pandas by Gail Gibbons. Giant pandas are the same as pandas. This book is published by Holiday House, and the illustrations are also by Gail Gibbons. Misty thick clouds hang over the mountaintops. A large black and white animal makes its way through a bamboo forest. It is a giant panda. Pandas live in the mountains of China. Chinese people call the giant panda Da Xiong Mao, meaning big bear cat. It looks like a bear and it has long claws like a cat. You can also see this map. The dark yellow area, the light yellow area is China. The dark yellow area is where pandas used to live, and the small red spots are the only places that they live today. Giant pandas are members of the bear family. Giant panda characteristics. Adult giant pandas are about 4 to 5 feet long, 1.2 to 1.5 meters, and normally weigh about 200 pounds or 91 kilograms. Most of the time they move slowly, but if they want, they can move at a fast trot. Their bodies are very flexible. The fur of a giant panda is thick, coarse, and oily to keep the panda's body warm and dry. The fur is about 2 inches or 5 centimeters long, and all the parts are labeled here. Here's the neck and the ears, the eyes and the snout, which leads to the nose, and there's the mouth. It has paws with long claws and a stomach. The back legs are over here, and underneath the black fur is black skin. It has scent glands under its tail, and underneath the white fur is pink skin. And here is its back. Giant pandas have poor eyesight, but they have excellent senses of smell and hearing. In fact, pandas are hard to find in the wild because they can hide when they smell or hear people coming. Normally, giant pandas are shy and tend to stay by themselves. When they want to communicate with each other, they use about 11 different kinds of sounds. They bark, growl, squeak, and make other sounds to mean different things. You can see growling or snorting here, which means I'm frightened, but a bark means hello. Giant pandas also communicate by leaving their scent to tell other pandas in the area. They do this by rubbing a smelly liquid from glands under their tails onto rocks or trees. You can see that panda over there doing that. Thousands of years ago, giant pandas ate only meat, but over time their diet changed to mostly plants, mainly bamboo. Occasionally they eat grass, roots, vines, honey, or even meat, like those bamboo rats that we read about in the other book. Bamboo. Because bamboo is not very nutritious, giant pandas must spend between 10 and 16 hours a day eating it in order to stay strong and healthy. The average panda eats about 27 pounds of bamboo in a single day, but can eat up to 80 like we read in the other book. Giant pandas have 5 claws on each of their paws, and they also have a special thumb on their front paw. They use their thumbs to claw and grasp the bamboo. The thumb is a rigid extension, so it doesn't bend like our thumb. Giant pandas use their big teeth and powerful jaws to crush and eat the bamboo stalks. They also eat the leaves. Giant pandas can be playful and athletic. They do somersaults, climb trees quite easily, and also giant pandas can swim, holding their heads above water while they paddle with their legs. Giant pandas don't have a regular sleeping place. They sleep on the ground, in the base of a hollow tree, or wherever they feel tired. They sleep 2 to 4 hours at a time. Male and female giant pandas come together to mate in the spring. After mating, the male goes off on his own. The female makes a bed of bamboo, twigs, and grasses in a cave or among rocks or a hollow tree. This place is called a den. You can see her den back here. In autumn, about 5 months later, the mother panda gives birth to 1 or 2 cubs. Immediately after birth, she begins nursing one of the cubs. A mother will only raise 1 cub at a time. Usually one will survive. In their natural habitat, mothers usually give birth every 1 to 3 years. You can see this picture, and it says a habitat is where an animal lives in nature. And if you look very closely, you can see that tiny, tiny cub in the mother's arms. Over in here, the cub has gotten a little bigger. A cub is very small. It only weighs about 3 ounces and is about 6 inches long. The mother is about 900 times larger than her cub. It's amazing how gentle she can be. The cub has pink skin over and some fuzzy white fur. Its cry sounds like a human baby. The mother holds her cub almost all the time. She won't leave it to get food for herself for about 1 week after her cub's birth. In about 40 days, the cub opens its eyes. It has black and white markings, and it's still helpless. When the mother wants to move her cub, she gently picks it up by its neck and carries it from place to place. You might have seen puppies being carried this way, or kittens. The mothers do the same thing with their cubs, or puppies or kittens, you know what I mean. At about 4 months old, the cub is able to crawl. At 7 months old, the cub can run and climb trees. It weighs about 20 pounds and has learned to eat bamboo. At about 2 years old, the giant panda weighs around 120 pounds. It has learned all it can from its mother, and now it's time for the young panda to live on its own. In another 2 years, it will be able to have its own young. Over the years, the number of pandas has become smaller because of a destruction of their natural habitat by people, accidental deaths and traps set for other animals, and the hunting of pandas for their fur. Because of their size, adult giant pandas have few natural enemies, except for people. Around the year 1900, there were about 65,000 giant pandas living in the wild. Today, there are fewer than 1,000. The people of China are trying to protect them. They have set aside large areas called reserves where giant pandas can live safely. Also, it is a crime to harm or kill a giant panda. In China, and a small number of other countries, scientists are trying to help increase the population of pandas. These pandas are cared for in captivity. The scientists try to encourage the pandas to give birth and care for their cubs. When the young giant pandas are capable of living on their own, some are released back in the wild nature reserves in China, and others are placed in zoos. Whenever the giant pandas are in a zoo, people love to come see them. They look like big, chubby, black and white teddy bears that are very playful. It's so much fun watching them. Giant pandas are one of the rarest and most appealing creatures in the world. And here are some extra facts about pandas. For years, scientists disagreed on what family giant pandas belong in. Now they agree that they're members of the bear family. The biggest giant panda that ever weighed was over 400 pounds. In 1 year, a giant panda might eat about 10,000 pounds of bamboo. A giant panda can live to be 25 to 30 years old, and today about 150 giant pandas live in captivity. It's difficult for scientists to breed and raise them, but they are learning more every year. China began trying to breed giant pandas in 1955. In September of 1963, Ming Ming became the first cub born in captivity. There are only a few zoos outside of China that have giant pandas. All pandas living in zoo are given two names, a Chinese custom that indicates love and affection. In 1972, China gave two giant pandas, Ling Ling and Xing Xing, to the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. In 1936, Su Lin became the first giant panda to be brought to the United States. He was a popular attraction at the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago, Illinois. Beginning in January 2001, people lined up to see Tian Tian and Mei Xiong at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. They had been flown there from the Wulong Giant Panda Research Center in China on a special plane called Panda 1. They were loaned for 10 years. And that was Giant Pandas by Gail Gibbons, published by Holiday House. So we're going to look at one more book today. This book is called How Many Baby Pandas, and it's by Sandra Marco. This book is published by Walker and Company. How many baby pandas have just been born? 1. A baby panda develops for 160 days. So when it's born, it is tiny, about the size of a hot dog. It's also blind, nearly bare, with just a thin coat of white hair. And it is helpless. In the wild, a mother panda gives birth in a den, like a hollow tree or a cave. To move her baby, she gently picks it up with her mouth. When she stops, she holds her baby against her chest so it can nurse or feed on the milk that she produces. See that itty-bitty baby? Sometimes, though, mother pandas have 2 babies, twins. For about the first 2 months, a baby giant panda needs a lot of its mother's time, needs to nurse as many as 8 times a day. It also needs to be held to stay warm. Taking care of her baby makes it hard for the mother panda to eat or rest enough, so a wild mother panda can only care for one baby. In the forest of China, where giant pandas live, the other twin usually dies, but in zoos and China's Wulong Giant Panda Breeding Center, the other baby is placed in an incubator, a machine to keep it warm. Human keepers feed and clean it, and at the end of each week, the twins are swapped, so each spends time with its mother. You can see in this one, it's starting to get black fur and skin on its arms and legs like an adult panda has. How many baby pandas are taking a nap? 1, 2, 3. Baby giant pandas, like human babies, sleep a lot. Most of their energy goes towards growing bigger. They also grow their fur coat. You can see these ones are all furry now. Then they can stay warm on their own. How many baby pandas are climbing? 1, 2, 3, 4. When baby giant pandas are about 3 to 4 months old, they start to crawl. By 5 months, they can climb. If the cub gets afraid or hungry, it squeals loudly, and then mom comes to the rescue. Here's mom coming to the rescue. How many baby pandas are eating? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Baby giant pandas need their mother's milk for about 18 months. As they get older and bigger, they nurse longer, but less often. For baby giant pandas not being fed by their mother, zoos mix up a creamy milk substitute. The babies drink this from bottles, or they lap it out of bowls. Like this baby panda. How many baby pandas are playing? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, plus 3 in the yard, 4, 5, 6. 3 in the playground. In the wild, cub's only playmate is its mother. At the Wulong Center, the cubs have lots of playmates. See all those babies to play with? How many panda cubs are chewing on bamboo? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From the time they are young, giant pandas cubs chew on bamboo. They do this because it's what their mom does. Their baby teeth aren't strong enough for them to eat the bamboo, but they mainly play with the stalks. That way, they learn to use their special wrist bone. That's like a thumb. How many baby pandas are resting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At about a year old, giant panda cubs get their adult teeth and they start actually eating bamboo. Bamboo does not supply a lot of energy though, so pandas must spend as many as 14 hours a day eating. No wonder they need to nap between meals. How many baby pandas live wild and free? Not enough. Hopefully one day with help from people there will be lots more. A giant panda cub stops nursing when it is about 18 months old. The mother will not have another baby until her cub is at least 2 years old. Then she will mate in the spring if she can find a male. In the past, that was not a problem. Today, fewer than 1,600 pandas remain in the wild. They live only in China and forests that are far apart, so finding a mate isn't easy. That explains why female pandas usually raise no more than 8 babies in a lifetime. The bigger problem for giant pandas is that the forests where they live are being cleared. To help, the Chinese government is keeping some forests safe just for pandas. People are not allowed to live there or cut down the trees. Zoos and special breeding centers are also raising giant panda cubs. The goal is to release young pandas into the forest. In 2005, giant pandas at the Wulong Center gave birth to 16 cubs, including 2 sets of twins. Look at all those baby pandas. Giant pandas are cool. They're a type of bear. To help them chew tough bamboo, they have a bigger jaw muscle than other kinds of bears. And because of the way these muscles attach to their skull, their ears wiggle when they chew. By the time a giant panda is full grown, it's about 5 feet long and weighs more than 200 pounds. It snows in the winter where giant pandas live, but the panda's coat keeps it dry and warm. It's made up of 2 layers, long outer hairs and short woolly underfur. Adult pandas usually live alone. Each has a home range, and its home range overlaps the home ranges of other pandas. When a cub leaves its mother, it travels until it can settle in an area not already claimed by another one. Here is a glossary of some of the words like bamboo, and also an index showing where those words occur. The Wulong giant panda breeding center started in 1980. It was one of the earliest panda research centers established in China. You can see that this is another map of where pandas live. So the green area is, this green area is China. The light green area is where pandas used to live, and the dark green spots is where they live now. Just like in the other map, it's much smaller, and it has some of the names there, including this dot, which is the Wulong Nature Reserve, where the Wulong Giant Panda Breeding Center is. They also suggest some books and other websites that you can check out if you want to learn more about pandas. We also have lots of other books that you can check out if you want to learn about pandas, including one about saving cubs, a book for younger readers who are looking to read by themselves, and many other things, including lots of storybooks about pandas if you really enjoy these characters. I hope you learned something new about giant pandas today. Once again, my name is Sarah Mari. I'm one of the librarians at Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.